Mr. Tom lived on Maple Street. He was old, but strong. He wore the same brown sweater every day. He had white hair and kind eyes. Mr. Tom helped everyone. He carried groceries for Mrs. Lee. He fed the stray cats. He fixed toys for the children. He smiled at every person he saw. The neighbors loved him. "Mr. Tom is such a kind man," they said. "He always knows what to do. He makes this street feel safe." One cold morning, a boy cried. His bike was broken. Mr. Tom came at once. "Don't worry," he said. He knelt down and fixed the bike in 10 minutes. "You're a hero," the boy said. Mr. Tom smiled. "I just like to help," he said. Another time Mrs. Green was sick. She lived alone. Mr. Tom made hot soup. He brought it to her door. "Eat this. It will make you strong," he said. Mrs. Green cried, "You are like family to me." People trusted him. They gave him keys to their homes. They asked him for advice. They brought him cookies and cards. "He's the heart of this street," they said. "If you need help, ask Mr. Tom." At night, Mr. Tom sat on his porch. He waved at every passerby. He looked proud. He looked kind. No one saw the shadow in his smile. One sunny afternoon, a moving truck stopped on Maple Street. A young woman stepped out. Her name was Lily. She had short hair and big brown eyes. She carried a heavy box in her arms. Mr. Tom saw her from his porch. He stood up right away. He walked over, fast but steady. "Let me do it," he said. "You're too small for this." Lily laughed. "Oh, thank you. That would help a lot." Mr. Tom carried the box into her new apartment. He asked, "Do you live alone?" "Yes," Lily said. "That's not easy," he replied. "I'll look after you." That night, Mr. Tom brought her cookies. "Eat something sweet," he said. "It helps with stress." Lily smiled. "You're so kind, like a father to me." Mr. Tom nodded. "I only want the best for you." The next day he came again. This time with soup. The next day a chair, then books, then plants. Every day something new. Every day more advice. "Don't go out too late," he said. "Don't talk to the man across the hall," he said. "He smokes." "Your lights were on until midnight," he said. "You need more sleep." Lily laughed at first. "He just cares," she told herself. "He wants to help." But slowly she began to feel watched. She heard knocks on the door early in the morning. She heard knocks late at night. "Why didn't you answer yesterday?" he asked. "I was resting," she said. "You should have told me," he said. "I'm only trying to protect you," he said. "You need someone to guide you." Lily looked down. She didn't know what to say. The box was heavy. But now something else felt heavier. Days passed. Lily stopped going out as much. When she did, Mr. Tom always noticed. "You wore that dress again," he said. "It's too short. You shouldn't wear red. It attracts the wrong people." Lily laughed, but it was a small laugh. She said, "Okay, maybe you're right." He started coming every day. He brought food. He checked her mail. He looked through her trash. "You eat too many sweets," he said. "Your body needs balance." Lily didn't remember asking for help, but it felt hard to say no. One night she invited a friend over. His name was Ben. They talked and played music. They laughed loudly. 10 minutes later, Mr. Tom knocked, hard. "Who's that?" he asked. Lily froze. "A friend," she said. Mr. Tom stared at Ben, then at her. He said nothing, then left. The next morning she found a note at her door. It said, "You don't know him. Be careful. Some people smile, but they are not safe." Lily's hands shook. She felt cold. From that day, Mr. Tom changed. He smiled less. He asked more. "Why didn't you answer my call?" "You were gone yesterday." "Where did you go?" "Why do you need other friends?" "I'm the only one who really cares," he said. "People will hurt you, but I won't." Lily looked out her window. The street felt smaller. Her world felt tight. She missed the days when she was free. Now her life had quiet rules. Rules she never agreed to. One morning, Lily found something strange. A small envelope lay under her door. No name, no return address. Just one sentence on the front. "You are not alone." Lily opened it slowly. Inside was a short note. The handwriting was soft but shaky. "He helped me too. Then he watched me. Then he made me feel small. I had to leave. Anna, apartment 3C. Lily's heart stopped. Anna. She remembered Anna, a quiet woman who moved away last year. Everyone said she left for work, but no one really knew. Lily read the note again. It felt too real. She looked at her door, then her window. Was someone watching? That evening, Lily sent a message to the old building group chat. She wrote, "Does anyone know Anna from 3C? A few minutes later, someone replied. It was Max from apartment 2A. "I remember her." She stopped talking to people. Then one day, she was gone. Lily felt her chest grow tight. She sent a private message to Max. They agreed to meet at the park. At the park, Max brought a folder. Inside were old notes, drawings, journal pages. "She gave me these," Max said. "She said Mr. Tom made her feel safe at first. Then slowly he took over everything." Lily looked through the pages. They felt like her own story. The same gifts, the same rules, the same fear. "He hides behind kindness," Max said. "He wants control, not love." Lily nodded. Her hands shook, but her eyes were clear now. When she got home, Mr. Tom was sitting outside. "Where were you?" he asked. "I made soup. You weren't here." Lily looked at him. She smiled, but it was different now. "I went for a walk," she said. "No need to worry." She closed the door behind her. For the first time, she locked it. Lily changed her routine. She opened her windows wide. She let in light and fresh air. She played music again, soft but happy. She stopped answering Mr. Tom's knocks. She said no for the first time. "No, thank you. I don't need help today." He stood at her door, quiet. His smile looked thinner. "Are you upset with me?" he asked. "No," Lily said. "I'm just learning to take care of myself." He brought her cookies again. She didn't take them. "You shouldn't eat food from strangers," she said gently. He frowned. "But I'm not a stranger." Lily smiled kindly. "Yes, you are." The neighbors began to notice. Mr. Tom didn't wave as much. He stopped bringing soup. He walked slower. He looked tired. One day, Mrs. Green spoke up. "He told me not to talk to the mailman," she said. Another neighbor nodded. "He told me not to wear makeup." People began to talk, to share, to remember. He wasn't just helping, he was shaping us. We thought he was a light, he was a wall. Lily put flowers outside her door. She painted her mailbox yellow. Children came to visit. They played music on her steps. Mr. Tom sat on his porch and watched. No one came to him now. No one asked for soup. His smile was still there. But now it looked heavy. One day he stood up. He walked down the street, slow and alone. He did not wave. Lily watched from her window. She didn't feel hate. She felt peace. Real kindness gives you space to grow. You don't owe anyone your silence. Sometimes freedom starts with one small no. And so Maple Street changed. Not with anger, but with truth. With voices. With quiet courage.